You are now tuning in to the Going North podcast with your host, best-selling author, professional speaker, and member of the John Maxwell team, Dominic Dom Brightman. And every Monday and Thursday, we're going to hear the voice of a different author sharing their gifts, stories, and expertise to help you charge forward in life. Now let's get on with the show. And today on the Going North podcast, where we bring you some fabulous humans from across the globe. I got to thank the big fellow D himself, Doug Vermeeren, for this awesome guest right here, part of this awesome film, How Thoughts Become Things. It's an invasion of positive thought and powerful thought, because this guy right here, he's been practicing for over 20 years, holding doctorates in both psychology and clinical hypnotherapy. My goodness, 2 doctorates. Dude's 2 guys in one, reaching beyond the common uses of conscious and subconscious models. Dr. Fox himself has perfected the use of subconscious auto-coding to help people improve their lives in a variety of areas such as disease recovery, weight loss, addictions, phobias, competitive athletics, and more. And he teaches clients to redefine and refine to maximum optimization their automatic processes, interrupt conscious negative thoughts, and arrive at a higher degree of output performance on command. So let's give it up for the fabulous TF himself, Travis Fox. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. Every time I hear you read that, I'm going, is he talking about me? I'm like, you must be talking about my cousin Trevor Cox. Wrong guy. Thanks for the intro, man. Thanks for letting me be here. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Thanks for accepting the introduction, and congrats on all of your work that you keep creating and just always refining and building, man.
Thanks, man. Here's the bad news. And there you said I've been doing it for 20 years. Officially, as of November 2020, it will be the start of my 30th year.
Woohoo! Yeah!
Hashtag Silver Fox.
Yeah! There you go. Folks love silver foxes. It's even worth more than gold eventually at this point, right?
Yeah, right. Right now, because gold ain't worth squat. Right now, there are far more interesting things on the planet that people are interested in. Gold ain't one of them. Oh, man, that's great. Thanks again.
My pleasure indeed. Well, since this ain't your first rodeo and it's already 30 plus years this November, my goodness, is there anything else I may have forgotten or that needs to be polished up about the one and only Travis himself?
Yeah, I'm on the back 9 of my life on November. I played the front 9 pretty well, about even par, maybe 1 under. Made a couple of bogeys here and there, ran into a couple of trees. You know, I had to take a bathroom break on number 4, but there was a couple of bushes and nobody really saw it. But now I'm on the back 9. And so now, as the Architects of Being Online Training Academy now becomes the premier online university for people truly want to architect their life and their lifestyle. Our goal in the next 5 years, which we've already been underway for the most of this year, is to train 1 million master architects, content creators, podcasters, published authors, and people who truly want to take what we're going to change in the self-development business. So I've been one of those guys where it's like, how come, if you're going to be a spiritual teacher, self-development, self-transformational person, very much like my esteemed colleagues that are in the film with me, how come we all have to sit on the side of a mountain and have our orange robe and shave our head and be spiritual? Or conversely, how come we have to be cutthroat a-holes in order to be capitalist and be business entrepreneurs? How come you couldn't put the 2 together? And obviously the coined term that's kind of been thrown around for the last 5 years is edutainment. Well, there's not really a blueprint for that. So my quest over the last 30 years is to be able to create a blueprint so that people who are content creators, who are truly messengers, brand builders, teachers, educators, and speakers, but turn this into an ascension model so that you can start from literally 0, and by the time 12 months later, you can be on global stages. And that's what we finally built. So the next 5 years through the Academy, and what we do now is to train 1 million master architects. And then on top of that, I am really done with the educational system. I've had it. I'm a 3-time father, 1-time grandfather, and I am sick and tired of people going into massive debt to go to get these pieces of paper that aren't worth shit. And I said, I forgive my candor, but I'm really sick of it. And the reason that I know that is my eldest son, who just graduated law school in 2020, then decided not to want to be a lawyer. And then my youngest son, who just graduated high school, who's fully autistic and on the autistic spectrum, both highly educated people. But when they came out with their education, that has nothing to do with what their heart was really telling them to do. So why don't we teach, middle schoolers and high schoolers what we teach in the academy, which I call the wealth set, which is once you understand how your brain works, consciously, subconsciously, and at the shadow subconscious level, but really driven by your heart, you can truly create and architect a life and a lifestyle that you want. And I'm not talking about some crap you see on social media where, hey, I'm standing by somebody's rented jet, or I rented this Ferrari, and you could have this lifestyle too, but I really don't even own one. Not that crap. I'm talking about real bona fide, a lifestyle, and understand what a lifestyle really means for you. And so now we have blueprint systems. It's taken me 30 years to put this together and thousands of students around the world. And now we're literally all over the world and growing country by country. And I'm really hellbound to change the educational system. And I don't want to just say that because it sounds arbitrarily cool, like some beauty pageant lady. Well, I want world peace. No, that's not what I said. I said I want to change the educational system because I'm tired of people, having this midlife crisis and wake up and go, crap, I spent the front nine of my life working, putting my kids through college. Maybe I've had a divorce or two. And all of a sudden I'm like, who the hell am I? Well, okay, shouldn't we be asking that question when we're 13 or 14 as opposed to, hey, you need to go into debt, you need to figure out your whole life at 15 when you barely have pubic hairs. You got to figure out who you are. And then all of a sudden, hey, when they're 50, they wake up and go, crap, I've wasted half of my life on doing something someone else programmed me to do because I have no idea how hypnosis works, how I hypnotize myself every single day to believe stuff I don't really want. And I convince myself to do things I really don't want to do. And again, I'm not talking about throwing caution to the wind. I'm talking about what if we approach life from a completely different systematic model, but we had a blueprint. So you want to know how to make money? We have a blueprint to teach you how to be a real entrepreneur. I mean, a real one, not, hey, buy my online course and here's a one-time offer of buy my crap and you get free shipping. I'm talking about real academy, interactive learning, reporting, tracking, data, seeing where you are, and then measurable, trackable results with clinical applications and experiences. But most important, enjoy it. Isn't education supposed to be learning what you want to learn? But once you learn a skill set of managing you, which by the way, newsflash, wow, the single longest relationship you're ever going to have in your whole life is you. Well, how come we don't teach that as education? We teach you stupid crap. Take a test, forget it. Take a test, forget it, get an attaboy, you get a report card, and who cares? And then all of a sudden people wake up and they go to college, they get these pieces of paper and they go, I have no idea who I am or what I want to do. I think that is a travesty. I think it's the worst thing we've been doing for the last 50, 60 years now in the educational system. And now, unfortunately, fortunately, / due to this whole COVID pandemic, it has finally given us the opportunity to punch a hole into this educational system that has really been a racket, in my opinion. And I love educators. I'm a teacher by trade myself. Yes, I've been in film and television my whole life, but I'm still a teacher at heart. I love it. What bothers me the most is we don't teach anymore. We've handcuffed teachers. We pay them dirt crap, just like we pay our men and women who are out there protecting us on the front lines. We pay all the people that we depend on the most, the least. And the people that get paid the most are ones we don't depend on. It's backwards. It makes no sense to me. So I'm hell-bent to change this. And I'm asking anyone out there who's a content provider, just like yourself, what we did at the film, wake up. Let's help you build your brand. We can help you take your podcast to the next level. We can get you to become a published bona fide author. We can take you and change what we're changing at our academy, where finally we're going to give you literally the binge watching of self-transformation. Not buy my course, upsell, we'll give you one little thing give you the whole damn pie, eat it as much as you can and change it because now's the time. And that's really the next back nine of my life. Great interview. Thanks for the good talk. Good talk. I really enjoyed it.
Travis Fox, President of the United States 2024, baby.
Oh, no. Whoa, time out. No, I have zero interest in that job. I'm power to the people. I'm not power to politics. I do not like politics. I do not understand politics. To me, they are a waste of time. It's mental masturbation at best. Not interested. Not interested. No, thank you for the nomination. I respectfully decline, and I yield the rest of my time to the honorable gentleman who wants it.
Fair enough. It's so true. It's so true. You're definitely right. Like, this is really like the year where things are really getting a lot of holes punched into it. Like on social media, there's this thing going around where it's memes like, hey, don't be ashamed to sell your course because Harvard's charging 50 grand for a Zoom class.
I know, right? And again, I give an example. I won't name the college that my son just graduated law school from. It's a very prestigious one, but I can tell you it came with 6 figures.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And he's a fantastically educated young man. He's brilliant, not just because he's my son, but because he is. And anybody who goes to that school is. Here's the problem. You still come out with a price tag, which means your first 4 to 5 years as a practicing lawyer, you're in debt. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in the history of life, right? That's not education. That's indentured servitude, right? So he's going to have to take X amount of years before he goes into the profit, or he's going to have to work extra, missing more of his life. So how come we can't architect a life and a lifestyle and the time to enjoy both? Because that makes sense to me. So the question I always ask people, and I'd love to ask your audience the same thing. I'm like, look, if you only had 30 days left to live on this planet, would you be doing anything you're doing right now? And if any part of your answer in any aspect of your life is no, then you owe it to yourself to stop, because the only person you're screwing is you. Then you're going to say, well, Travis, you don't understand. I do understand. There's not much I haven't been through. I'm not saying I've been through everything, and I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm just as effed up as you are. I just know I am, and I built a system to wake myself up, and thousands of people have followed it, and it worked. Great. Awesome. What I can tell you is I have really good questions, and one of those questions is, how come we're so afraid to just live? We don't mind paying bills. We don't mind getting up and doing crap that we don't really want to do. We don't mind, bitching and moaning about politics is one of them. We don't mind about that. But when it actually comes to saying, hey, you know what, family? What if I ask you to take 30 days and come travel with me around the globe, and let's explore you for a minute? Why don't we go out to, let's say, Africa, where I've been, and you hang out with the Maasai tribe, the mighty Maasai, and you live in a mud hut. And let's get some value structure and figuring out what's really important to you. Or, hey, better yet, let's fly away to Australia. Let's hang with the Aboriginal culture who's been around for 50,000 years. They kind of got it all figured out. Let's go talk to them a wee bit and really see what's interesting. Because when you take all the technology away, you take the automation away, you take all the things that we think are really important, like I can't get my double latte, half calf, decaf crap with my $6 while I'm waiting 30 minutes in line, and you think you're not a drug addict? Wake up, people. You are addicted to this search. That's the drug you're addicted to. So that's the best part of the hypnosis. And when I'm like, once you understand how hypnosis actually works, and yes, I actually have a doctorate in it. And yes, I've been in this space for a very, very long time, because I wanted to understand. I'm a how-to guy. I want to understand, how does my brain work? How do I get out of my own freaking head? This whole, hey, you know what? If you just let go, it'll happen. Well, I apparently am the idiot in the room, because I let go and shit didn't happen. I was like, what does let go mean? How does that work? And then when I started really looking at my entire educational, I'm like, yes, I have 2 doctorates. And guess what? I'm still twice as dumb, because it took me twice as long to figure out it has nothing to do with your head. It has to do with what's going down here, we call the architect, or your heart. But we're so locked up. And we're so good at building our own psychological prisons. And we are so good at building walls of distance and emotional disassociation, and keeping ourselves self-hypnotized under the illusion that we're awake, that we're in control, that we're making decisions. No, you're not. You're on freaking autopilot. And until we own that, we are subject to the whims of a man-made mind, mostly your own. And that's scary, because that's like asking the inmates to run the asylum, and better yet, decorate it so it looks prettier. It's going to be absolutely insane. And so over the last 30 years, I've toiled, I've spent millions of dollars, screwed myself up, traveled around the world 3 times, sat with everyone I could sit with and go, wait a minute, it's a sequencing issue. The sequence is backwards. We teach everything outside in. We teach everything is outside in, and then go find it. Example, go find what your passion is. Okay, is there a roadmap? Is there a place that I'm supposed to stop? I mean, do I get a map that says, okay, if you get to these 3 points, you get to find your passion? Or, hey, you got to go find your soulmate. Okay, well, if they're my soulmate, shouldn't we be naturally attracted to each other? We'll find each other. What do you mean go find them? Or better yet, my favorite one, especially when you come out of high school, you got to go find yourself. What are you talking about? Did I leave myself at a bus stop in Cleveland? What do you mean I got to go find myself? That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. And yet we are so flippantly unaware. We allow these statements to be ingested into our minds, ingested into our kids' minds, ingested into the school system, and we don't realize that they get right past the defense mechanisms of our conscious mind and get into the subconscious and become real. Now, all of a sudden, I'm out searching. Every relationship I'm in, I'm searching, are you my soulmate? Well, first of all, you have to even define what soulmate even means. Secondly, what does that actually mean? Thirdly, are you even in touch with your soul? Do you even believe that concept? But what is your religious ideology? Because that's going to have some sort of cultural influence on you. What is your, where did you grow up in the world? All of these things, and we don't teach any of it. And After 50 years of watching this, I have come to the conclusion that beating your head against the wall and expecting it to become a door is nuts. So instead of beating my head against the wall, I changed the entire educational system in our academy. And our academy really walks from, wait a minute, it's an inside out job. But we're going to start outside, working you into here so you understand how the conscious mind actually works. What are the 7 rules of the conscious mind? Why do you keep doing the same stupid crap that you always do? Travis Fox included, by the way. What happens when it gets to my subconscious? What's my higher value system? What is my adaptive response mechanism? My internal states? What are the values? And most importantly, what's the emotional driver? Where did it all come from? Because belief systems start from an emotional driver. They don't start from some idea you had in your freaking head, people. That was the illusion I was taught and trained to. It's not real. It's the biggest self-hypnosis ever perpetuated on humanity. And when you understand that, then you can architect up, like you see the logo behind me. It's inside out. When you're architecting up and you're using this tool that's on your shoulders, commonly called your head, as an actual tool that was designed, well, that's different. Your alignment changes, your value system changes, what becomes important to you changes, and all of a sudden you start to recognize, wait a minute, there's only one truth on the planet. There's only one. None of us are getting off this planet alive. We're all leaving the same, broken, dead, okay? And life without living is the ultimate undoable regret, period. And you don't get to do it over. I don't care if you believe in reincarnation or not. You might come back as a camel's ass. So you don't know what you're coming back as, because the wheel of Dharma, which I've studied as well, has a whole animal kingdom and human kingdom and demigod. So you might come back as a camel's ass. So you don't really know consciously. So let's approach life from this different perspective. And what if we started doing it from a cooperative space of there is no such thing as us and them. There is no such thing as male or female. There is no such thing as rich or poor, tall or smart, gay or straight. All that's crap. That is isolationism, segregated, stupid, egoic shit. What if you just said we're all pink? You're pink on the inside, so am I. I happen to be in this spacesuit that came in as an Italian guy named Travis Fox. Okay, great. But it has nothing to do with who I am. That's a name my mom gave me and my dad gave me. I'm like, oh, I'm Travis. Okay, that sounds good. I'll call myself Travis. Sounds great. I had nothing to do with it. Neither did you. And nobody listening to this podcast, you had nothing to do with your name. It was given to you. And you went, okay, I'll take that as truth. That's what we do with most of our life. We just accept it and no idea how it actually really works. And that to me is the tragedy when there's so many beautiful beings, being spiritual beings, and whatever your spiritual ideology, I don't care. But let's agree you came from somewhere, you were born here, you're gonna leave and go back to wherever that is, commonly called death. So that means there's a being inside that human spacesuit of yours, hence you're having a human being experience, but you're still a being. The being is the only constant. Everything else is freaking temporary. So if you're the dreamer, how come you're not rowing your boat gently down the stream? Because merrily, life is but a dream. Because somewhere along the line, around middle school, someone sold us all the same bill of goods. Stop dreaming and trade it in for hoping. Stop being who you really are and trade it in for just doing. And then, you know what? Settling for good enough and mediocre is okay, because you know what? You can't have everything you want. Bullshit. You can. The question is, are you willing to dive in, architect your life and your lifestyle? If you are, my name is Travis Fox. I am here to walk it out with you because that's all I'm interested in.
Woo! The godfather of mindset in the building, baby. That's right. Need to throw the robe over you like James Brown, baby. My man's dropping mics, baby.
I was preaching with James. I was preaching. I was like, oh, sorry, I got a little on a rant there. I'm a little passionate about this in case you people haven't noticed. But again, how come we're not passionate? The number one call I've gotten for this year in 2020, I mean, I get it every single day. People call the academy and say, Travis, hey, can we jam with them? Like, sure, what do you want to talk about? You know what? I don't know what I'm passionate about. Are you serious? Let me put this in perspective for you, family. This is the quickest reframe. I'll say the years of therapy. Ready to go? Here, it's real simple. If you had 30 days left to live, you'd be real passionate about breathing. So get passionate right now, because you might only have 30 days left to live. You'd be passionate about going to the bathroom. You'd be passionate about, guess what? Doing the dishes that you hate to do. You'd be passionate about shaking hands, saying hello, looking at grass, staring at the birds, flicking out the skies and things that you take for freaking granted because you think you have time. That is the number one self-hypnosis we all perpetuate. You don't know how much time you have. None of us do. That is the illusion of this place. So when we wake up to the concept that time is a construct, and we don't know how much time before these human spacesuits say, guess what? Boop, we're going to hit the ejection seat like a James Bond movie, and boop, we're going to punch your being right out of your body, commonly called death. Guess what? It's over. And you don't get a second chance at that. Again, you might come back as a camel's ass, like I said, so you don't really know. And who knows, you might come back completely even worse. You might not even come back at all. It might take you a century before you come back. You might have to go to planet Xeon or wherever the hell you have to go in the universe. The bottom line is, how come we're so afraid to live? We have no problem not living. We are masters at not living. We are masters at excuses. We are masters at justification. We are masters of rationalization. And we have no idea where that crap comes from, but we'll readily buy it. But when I ask someone, are you willing to invest in you? Because if you're willing to invest in you, my academy will invest in you. I will help you earn and learn. You will pay for your education. I will teach you to be a true entrepreneur in your passion, you doing it with a bona fide blueprint where you can make your money by doing what you love in real time. I'm not talking about $50,000, $60,000 crap like Harvard. I'm talking about real world experience, because you're in the people business, baby. And if you ain't in the people business, newsflash, you ain't in business. It's that simple. I don't care what the piece of paper on your wall says. I have plenty of them myself. And guess what? I gave them all back because I realized Travis Fox is enough. I don't need doctor in front of my name. I don't need a PhD. I don't need the DCH or NLP master trainer, all these really things that I am. EMMY Award-winning. They're all wonderful, and I'm grateful for everything that I learned. However, all those things were a way to validate that I wasn't enough. I had to go get all this stuff because it's the same message I've been saying since I was 7 years old. But when I was 7, I was too young. I didn't know what I was talking about. I'm fine. Maybe I didn't, because it wasn't Travis Fox talking, because he's not that intelligent, right? It's the being within this body called Travis Fox, far more enlightened than Travis Fox will ever be. But that message is the same. All we've done now is put beautiful stuff around it that help it become more clinically applicational. I agree. However, it's enough. When will we accept we're enough? The fact that we're here right now is enough. But we're so scared to admit that, because deep down inside, in places we don't want to talk about a cocktail party, someone might find out we're vulnerable, we're hurt, we're wounded. Yep, guess what? You are. And you wonder why the relationships you have keep repeating, because you go in going, I don't want to be hurt. Well, guess what the emotion you're creating from? Hurt. Duh. So we set that up, and you're such a master creator already, you'll create the relationship to hurt you. Bingo. And you're fulfilling the belief structure, because the subconscious mind says, guess what? I can't hold stories, but I hold belief structures. And I have to validate those belief structures. Otherwise, I have a psychotic break. So we validate what we believe. The problem is, do we even know what we believe? Or we just believe because we were told to? Because that's what mom, dad, church, and state told us to believe. Or that's what some social media crap or fake media or whatever. Thank God for podcasting, because finally people are asking the real questions, just like this show, where you can really talk to real people, hear the real answers, the real questions that they're at least coming up with. Because we all know that what we're hearing on TV and what we're seeing now is total hogwash. And again, I don't care what side of the fence you sit on. I don't care. I'm not here to make political comments. I'm about talking about the people. When, oh, when will the people recognize it's us? We're all on the same freaking planet out in the middle of BFE. In case you haven't noticed, we're the only planet populated on the block. There ain't no neighbors. It's us, fam. We got to get along from the perspective of, what if we just see each other as pink? And the more and more I see you as a part of me, and vice versa, now all of a sudden, natural compassion, natural connection shows up. You don't have to learn compassion. It's already there. What you have to learn is stop when you stopped yourself from being compassionate, and the layers and lenses of crap of anger and frustration and resentment and self-shame and all this other crap that we took on because we were not being who we really wanted to be. We had to be who we were told to be. When those layers come off, all you see is, you see the being. It's natural. You don't have to work at it. You don't have to walk around and, sing kumbaya and go, oh my God, the world's, I mean, that's fun. It's great. I love it. Do it. But reality check, you can just walk down the streets and say, hey man, how are you? Hey, young lady, how are you? And it's not coming from any other place of just connecting, because you understand when you see that that person, that might be their last breath. And they're reflecting that for you to remind you it might be yours 10 seconds later. So be present and enjoy it. You are the architect of your life. And if you don't know how to architect your life, then someone else built your world for you. Then you must ask yourself, whoa, who's running the show?
Man, we're going to need like 10 different mics, because you keep dropping all of them, my friend.
Well, like you said, ain't my first rodeo. I've been to a few of these. Got bucked off a few times, busted a couple of ribs, broke a couple of ribs. Yeah, I had that happen. But yeah, and I guess for me, it's thank you for the compliment. But the back nine is, I'm not holding back anymore. I played the role. I've been on film and television my whole life. And yes, I played that role, but I also played Dr. Fox, which is the worst role of my life. I played what they told me to play. I had to have all the answers. I had the perfect life, and I had the wife and the kids and the cars and the RVs, and I was traveling, and everything looked great on the inside except for one thing. It didn't have heart. It was all mindset training. I am anti-mindset training. When people tell me mindset, I just laugh. I'm like, great, that's mental masturbation. When you're done, let me know. Here's a towel. All right, I'm done. I don't want to hear mindset training. Your mind has nothing to do with what's going on. It is only a freaking computer. And if you don't know that, then again, you're subject to the whims of a mad mind. But let's change that. Let's change that now, right now. No more, not 20 years from now, and we don't need government funding. I'm talking about you can literally change your life for less than $500. And I'm not talking about, oh, you get one little course and doggone it, you wait no more and we'll send you. No, I'm talking about full academy, interactive learning, where we track your data. It is educationally based, clinical, applicational, experiential. And you have an architect advisor who has done the exact same journey you have, who has graduated, who has gotten through the practicum, gone through the hell that I put all my advisors through so that they can walk you through it. They're not going to do it for you. That's not possible. Anybody tells you they're going to do it for you and has the answers is full of shit, including me. And I don't have any answers for you. I have really good questions, but I don't have any answers for you. Anybody says they've got the answers is just lying to you, flat out lying to you. There's no way. You are the architect of your world. You are a beautiful being who just forgot. You've been programmed to forget. You have been believing it for so long, you believe it's real. And you know why? Because you're the architect of that too. You just forgot that too. And what would it be like if you actually woke yourself up? What if you change your life right now? Now's the perfect time to do it. You got plenty of time to invest in you, but instead we'll invest in Netflix or Amazon and we'll watch every freaking movie that China's kicked out for the last 40 years that we don't give a crap about because, well, I'm bored. I bet if you were on your deathbed in the ICU at COVID-19, you wouldn't give a crap about boredom. You would be clawing for life. What's the difference, family? When you can discover that gap and you're willing to ask yourself that question, give us a call. We're ready. Matter of fact, I'll start you off for free. I'll give you the first 3 days of our jump training. It will jump you right into the deep end of the pool and you will see change right now. And if it's not for you, then thank you for coming along for the Academy. There's a bunch of bonus material. It's all there for you. There's meditations, there's yoga, there's Tai Chi from all architect masters who have been trained in their own brand, doing their own thing inside the Academy. Meditations, audio programs that will get you started. Use them unlimited. Please, we're all waiting for you to wake up. We need you to. You're here. The best analogy I will give all of you is we're all a grain of sand on the beach of God. The beach doesn't exist without the grain, and the grain doesn't exist without the beach. So here's the deal. You're already enlightened. Just take the layers and lenses off of you and let that beautiful light shine. You don't need to become more enlightened. The sun is the sun. It doesn't get any lighter, by the way. So when you hear that stuff on social media, you know, you need to be more enlightened. No, you don't. You need to be less dark. And I mean, dark, that is an evil. Dark is, and you've dumbed yourself down. You've compressed yourself. You've oppressed yourself with anger and guilt and frustration and resentment. I'm not good enough and I'll never make it. I'm not one of those people and F this and F that. And I'm like, that's great. When you're done with your pity party, let's give you a system, a blueprint to wake yourself up now. I'm talking 30 days from now, you could literally have changed your life. No bullshit. We've done it thousands of times. All you have to do is follow the blueprint. The question is, are you willing to invest in you? And if you're not willing to invest in you, then why the hell should anybody else? Because you are the single most valuable thing on this planet. Every single one of you listening to this podcast, you are the value. If that doesn't ring true with you, you're the first person that needs to call. You're the first person that needs to call because that's the part that they stole from you. That's the part that isn't your fault. That's the part that they hypnotize you to believe that you had to become a valuable member of society. You already are freaking valuable. What they convinced you to be is not valuable. That's the trick. That's where we're going to wake everybody up because once you understand, and by the way, I'm a master hypnotist, so that shit doesn't work on me. I'm like, try that master hypnosis crap with me. Doesn't work. Because they're already hypnotized. What they didn't tell you is they've been hypnotizing you all along and they didn't teach you how it actually works. My entire passion is to go time out. What if I showed you how it actually works? You recognize that, guess what? The only person that's been hypnotizing anyone is you hypnotizing you. And they used it against you, called the educational system. They turned it into a political system. They turned it into a lobby system. They turned it into advertising. They turned it into corporate sponsorship. Bullshit. We need you. We need literally 1 million architects to wake up right now. This film is a precursor to that, to invite you how your thoughts come from. If you don't know where your thoughts come from, that's the first place to start. Let's go. Let's have fun. Besides, by the way, who said it had to be boring? Why does education have to be boring? Education should be fun. All of you had an experience in school. We all did. When you found something that you really enjoyed, you loved that class. You loved go learning. But when they made you take crap that you really weren't that interested, that's when you tuned out. Oh, by the way, that's when they actually hypnotized you. When you weren't paying attention. When you thought chemistry sucked or biology was crap or history and you're like tuning out, That's when all that stuff gets in. Mr. Fox, you're not paying attention and you're not living up to your potential. What do you know, teacher? The teacher is being trained by another one teacher that said, if you say that to a kid to activate their potential, realistically, what they're not hearing is that program goes right in that kid's mind. And that kid all of a sudden starts to think, am I actually in my potential? And that spiders into their sports, into their sibling relationship, into their family. And then they go into college and they don't make it and they drop out. And next thing you know, their parents think they're a failure. Duh, they were programmed, but it seems innocuous. So when are we going to stand up for ourselves? When are we going to say it's time? Let's wake ourselves up. That's what the Architects of Being Online Academy is all about. There's a worldwide community. We're all standing here going, let's go. And we do it every single day. And all I'm interested in is waking up the 1,000 architects, not Travis Fox waking them up, walking with you as you wake yourself up. Because once you have that well set of skills, the riches of you shows up in money, relationships, friends, your message, your book, your podcast, whatever it is, the riches of you shows up, that beautiful enlightened being's already waiting there. All right, the question is, are you ready to architect it?
Amen to that. And you said something really powerful earlier about getting sick of the whole mindset thing. And that reminded me of the story one time about how you went to Egypt a couple of years ago and you learned about how the pharaohs were being embalmed and how they cracked their brains and they left their heart.
Yeah, that was absolutely correct. And thanks for the research, by the way. Yeah, that was a couple of years ago. I was in Egypt because I was always fascinated by the Valley of Kings. And first of all, I'm fascinated. Where the heck did the Egyptians come up with this stuff? Because when you actually see it in person,
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you people, there's some bigger shit going on in the world. It's mind-boggling. I stood there dumbfounded. Literally, I was in the Temple of Karnak. I remember going, these things are huge. These columns are 20 feet in diameter and they're 30 feet tall and they're perfectly matched. You can't even get a freaking pin between them. I mean, I can't even brush my hair that straight. I'm like, how the hell did they do this? And you sit there and you're just in utter awe. And then when I really dove into the embalming process, and I was like, well, wait a minute. Why is this embalming thing so important? What am I missing here? And then I realized that, oh, wait a minute. They actually cracked the skull and they took the brain out because they considered the brain another organ, just like the kidneys, the stomach, and everything else. And they were all in those little jars. And they said they realized that it was the spirit that was running the show. It was the heart. The heart was the only thing they left in the body. And I went, well, damn. Maybe, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but they were doing this 7 centuries ago. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, hypnosis actually really kind of started in that era because they used to have a thing called the sleep temple. And the sleep temple was where the holy men, quote unquote, would come in and do these mysterious chants and incarnations and you'd come out healed. Duh. It's called hypnosis, or commonly called placebo, because your body can heal itself if you understand how to get yourself into that space. And it's not hard. It's really easy because you do it every day. The question is, you're just architecting what you don't want versus architecting what you want. And the Egyptians were amazing. When I learned that, I was shocked. And I'd say shocked from the perspective of, you know what, maybe it's not about how smart we think we are now. It's how much we've forgotten from how intelligent we actually were back then when we were in ancient Rome. And I've been to Rome, I've been to Greece, I've been to Egypt, I've been, you name it. I've been to the whole Saudi Arabian Peninsula and just studied it and looked at it all and went, wait a minute. There is something beautifully intelligent about it. And yet the mystery of it is still the same, which is how they do that. Well, I'm a how-to guy. So for my generation, for the time that I'm here on this planet, is to go, wait a minute, what if we gave them the same thing, but we did it instead of architecting pyramids? What if we architected beings? What if we architected lifestyles? What if we architected an educational system? Because everything that I heard in Egypt was there was the great architect who educated the pharaoh and said, this is how we're going to build it. And everything we do now, a house, a building, cars, streets, cities, has an architecture, but we don't have an architecture for our life or for ourselves. That makes zero sense to me. And that's been the passion and mission of my life since I was 19 years old.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And it's so powerful, really, just being able to do all that world traveling and actually take it and apply it to your life to be able to get on this mission to help thousands, eventually a million of people to become better architects of being. And heck, even think of being an architect, to be honest, because a lot of folks don't think that way.
No.
And heck, they don't even believe that way and they don't even know where to start.
Oh, easy. Architecting360.com. Shameless plug. You threw me a softball, boss, and I had to go with it. I'm sorry. Architecting360.com. Architecting360.com. Hypnosis. Architecting360.com. You go there, you get it for free, family. It's my gift for you listening. Start the first 3 days for free. Check it out. But yeah, you don't want to start because you're exactly right. We're taught not to. When we're kids, we know how to architect playgrounds. We know imagination. We know how to architect scenes. And like my day, it was like, you want to be the $6 million man. You're like, no, 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 no. I mean, we played that. You know, you're lifting trees and you were imagining all this stuff. You were there, man. I mean, you were like, yeah. And when your mom called you, it kind of messed up the whole trance. Saying, you got to come over for dinner. Crap, man. I got to go back to being normal. All right. We had it. But along the way, we were told to grow up. Big boys don't cry. Little girls are supposed to be seen and not heard and just be beautiful little princesses. And then we get into middle school and then we're all messed up because we got all these hormones going on and we're trying to fit in and we're trying to figure out what's going on in our head. And we have no guidance, but we have to get to school on time. We have to go to classes we don't really want to go to. And now we got all these emotions going on. And then we get into high school and now all of a sudden you have to have the rest of your bloody life figured out by the time you're a junior in high school. I'm like, well, I could barely have a driver's license, but you want me to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing for the next 40 years as a career? That's dumb. I'm sorry. That's just stupid. There is no other word for it. I'll be the first to call it out. I'm a teacher educator myself. I'm like, wait a minute. Let's start reverse. Let's teach you how to work you. So you're crystal clear how this puppy up here above your shoulders works. How does your heart, how do you know the difference between a decision and a choice? And by the way, family, there is a very big psychological difference and an autonomic process of how that happens and what a choice and a decision is. And we don't even teach that. I mean, we barely teach people how to balance their checkbook. I mean, let's be honest. They did that in my day, and we don't even have checkbooks now. That's even worse. We just rely on technology. Oh, okay, it's how much money you have in the bank. Okay, great. Wait a minute. It's your life. Now, do it. And again, if you had 30 days, would you be doing anything you're doing? Start approaching your life from that perspective. It will keep you present. And trust me, with today's world, and whether it's this pandemic or another one, and I'm not making light in any way, shape, or form of the C-19, but let's be honest, there are many pandemics on the planet. HIV is still very real, right? Yellow fever still kills you. You go to Africa, still got to get inoculated from it. Ebola, whack you, you're gone. So flu still kills people. So there's all kinds of things out there. So to sit there and say that, well, I'm just going to wait this out. Excuse me. Now, again, I'm not saying being flippant. Listen to your state, local, regular, wherever you are in the world, family. What I am saying is stop waiting. Educate yourself now because we have tools like we're doing here. You have Zoom, you have our Academy. It's interactive learning. It's not just watch a video. We're talking to you in real time. We have a social media. It's all closed. Invest in you because you're the single longest relationship you're ever going to have. And if you are upset with you, that is like hell. It's not you die and then go to hell. You're in it. You're in it right now. Right the hell now. Hence the joke, right? Oh, I've got to wait for my better life. I'm going to go to heaven. Heaven's here too. I hate to break it to you because we're on this little blue marble and it's the only one that sustains life in this whole freaking solar system. And if you want proof, go back to 1970. There's a little thing called Voyager. We sent it out to space at 17,000 miles an hour. It's balls assing for the last 50 years. It just finally made it out of our solar system. Finally, 50 years. Do the math on that, family. 17,000 miles, just balls ass as fast as you could go. And it took 50 years to leave our solar system. It's the first time in human history we've reached interstellar space. We don't know shit. Calm down. We just found out we're the only people on the block. Shit. Our little block is this big. So what if we started approaching it from a totally different point of view? So the entire object of our culture, both in the last book I wrote, which is called Architect That, building your business by leading from the bottom up, which is a double entendre for your life and your business and your culture, how you empower people, how you truly help them get themselves free, because that's what we all really want. Let's just own that. We want to be free. We want to be free to be whoever we are, explore whatever that is, because we all knew we're leaving the planet broken dead. We just don't know it. And we're really good at hypnotizing ourselves to believe we have time. We don't have time. There's 200,000 people, ballpark, well, actually I think it's 130 at the current moment, 130,000 people in the United States alone have left the planet in the last 4 months because of COVID-19. Fact, take it, take it or leave it. That number is much higher if you go global. Okay, family, people are leaving the planet every single day, right? If you're the one next, I promise you, you're in your passion. You are connecting with people right now. All that stuff that you think is important, that drama, king, queen crap that you hold on to, you're going to drop it like a sack of potatoes. So what's the difference between that tragedy happening to you and your beautiful opportunity right now to architect your life? I'll tell you, it's really simple. You're scared shitless to find out who you really are, the beautiful, powerful, beautiful being that you already are, because you are so conditioned for pain. You are so conditioned for failure. You're so conditioned for not being good enough. You're so conditioned for your relationship being mediocre that you've accepted it as truth. And because you're such a good creator, you believe it. Now, I double dog dare you. I double dog dare you in the most entertaining, non-competitive, non-egoic way. Check out Architect. See who you really are. Try it out for 3 days. If we're not it, go to one of the other teachers in that film. They're all master teachers. We all teach basically the same thing. I'm just the how-to guy. I want to go step by step because I was an ex-control freak. Okay, great. Benefit to you. Now you know how to control you, because I wanted to know how to control me. I was my first client. I'm just as messed up as you are. I just know I am. And now I know how to fix it because I have a set of wealth skills that I've developed and trained over 30 years and did all this stuff so you don't have to, because I've had money, lost money, had money, lost money, had it again. And yes, having money is better than not. Duly noted. But what if we put the two together? What if we put education, entrepreneurialism together? Now, earn and learn right now. If you follow our blueprint in 30 days, you will have paid for your education. Now, I can't say the big G word, because the FTC won't allow me to say it, so I'm not going to. But there's a high degree of probability. Individual results may vary. Consult your local, whatever. Right? There's your disclaimers. But if you do it based on other experiences, you have a high degree of probability of repeating the results. Why? Because you are the architect of your journey. And when you're on passion, purpose, and point, there are literally tens of thousands of other people that need to hear you. They need your message. They need you to wake up. They need you to stop giving to the humdrum. They need you to architect, and they need the blueprint that you walk through first, and then you show them how to do it in your own way, in your own brand. And holy crap, we might actually just change the world. We might. You never know. The back nine is going to be different because we're shooting for every pin. We're swinging out of our socks on every tee box. So we've got nothing to lose, because you know what? We're on the downward slide, as they say, and we're coming home. And at the 19th hole, it's over, boys. Let's go. So that's what Travis Fox is up to. And if that is appealing to you, thank you for listening. If not, then thank you for listening either way.
My goodness, my goodness. My goodness. Got the powerhouse in there, baby. It's like a meteor just came flying in, baby. I'm telling you. Yes, indeed. So coming down to probably about a good 2 more questions, then let you make a run for it. And this one's probably for the future interview.
Okay.
Is there a question you wish you'd be asked more often when you're being interviewed like this?
Yeah, the one question I love that I get more often, and I love this question, is what was kind of the single pivot point? People ask, hey, Travis, do you understand what I've been through? I'm like, you have no idea what I've been through, so stop assuming, right? My life has not been all peaches and roses. In fact, quite often it's been quite the opposite. The difference is, again, I had beautiful mentorship. I believe in mentorship hardcore. I sat under my mentor for 15 years, and until he released me, and after all my degrees, and he had more degrees than I'll ever have. And then, but when he finally really taught me what mastership was really about, mastership isn't, hey, I'm the expert, I'm all that in a bag of chips. It's completely opposite. It's mastership is you understand that your gift is here to serve, because you're going to give it back when you leave. Master's Path is about you truly understand what you are here for, what your passion and purpose is in the service of other people's journey. That's it. Everything else is just a story, boys and girls. It's a story. Don't believe it. Don't buy into it. I know I did. I bought it hook, line, and sinker and all the bullshit until I had the one question, which goes back to your question. What was my single pivotal moment? My third child was born autistic, and the best teacher I've ever had in my life. By far, changed everything. Dr. Fox, that egoic personality that I walked around as, because I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do, was educated, I was smart, I was on television, I did all the thing, I did the media junkets and the books and all great, that's awesome. I really enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic experience. However, it lacked heart. It lacked heart. Because it was trained mindset. It was trained mindset training. You got mindset, my ass. If I chop off your head, problem solved, but you still exist. How is that possible? How's that possible? Because you're a being. Now, you can call that being whatever you want. You can call that soul. You can call that chi. You can call that, Allah, Yahweh, Jesus. I don't care. You call it whatever you want. I call it great architect for simplicity. You call it what you want. But there is an undeniable scientific fact. You are a being from somewhere else. Whatever you want to call, that's up to you. Okay, fine. So now we know that we do that. So that's why it's called architects of being, by the way, because we're all architects. The question is, we're not being, right? We're trying to be human. Well, but human is the joke. It's like going to a theme park and saying, no, 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 I don't want to go to a theme park. I actually want to go to the circus. They're two different experiences, boys and girls. So the part comes there. So the question is, what is the pivotal moment? The pivotal moment is when my autistic son was born. And there's a very pivotal moment in that story when he was 7. And I watched him do what a normal child would do. And I use normal very loosely in this comment because my elder children are both neurotypical. But I watched him, and I'll never forget, we're in Atlanta, Georgia, and the leaves are falling, which, I live in the West Coast. So like, what the hell's a leaf? I was like, well, that's really cool. And normally kids jump in a pile of leaves and they play and they throw them up, right? Okay, fine. No, not this one. This one grabbed the leaves and he stared at him for like what seemed like forever. It's probably realistic 30 seconds, but he stared at him and he observed them. And I have been observing him the whole time, watching him going, what is he doing? And then he sat there and he slowly started to crunch these leaves with such a fervent presence, such a focus and such an intensity that he literally heard every crackle and he felt every part of that leaf in his hand. And when he finally crushed those 2 leaves, he got so excited that he literally started flapping his hands, which autistics do. It's called modulation. And he was so excited, he literally could not contain the excitement in his body. And I tell you, my brother, I started weeping. I started crying like a little boy. I had realized, staring at this 7-year-old who was crunching leaves, which is something that seems so simple, so innocuous, so not even worth even getting excited about. I had never felt that kind of passion or happiness in my entire freaking life. And I wept because the lesson he gave me, without having to say a word, without having to go to years of school and college and degrees and sit in therapy and, run across fire and all this other shit to come to my awareness, I sat and watched a little boy who was so present and so in his heart, crushing leaves, and so excited about something that I had never even taken the time. I had so much arrogance to just think it was just leaves. I never paid attention to it, and it woke me up, changed my life forever, and I realized I had never been present, and yet here I was, the great Dr. Fox, walking around teaching them. I'm the guy that teaches this stuff, right? I've been teaching it for 15 years, and I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, and it changed my life forever, and I realized it's all about heart. It's missing. And so I changed the entire academy and said, we've got it all wrong. Our corporate models are all wrong. We ascend to the top and you become the CEO. Well, guess what? Then the company is bound and inhibited by that person on their personal growth. If they aren't opening up, then the company's only going to go that far. What if we flip this whole thing on its head and said, wait a minute, like in my company, I'm the CEO and founder, but I'm the bottom. I'm at the very bottom, way down here, just like our logo. I'm at the bottom, and each layer that it stacks upon becomes wider and stronger. It's the inverse pyramid model, and it works. And that's what the last book was about, and that's what our whole academy is built on. It isn't about follow Travis Fox. Please don't follow Travis Fox. Oh, that's the dumbest thing in the history. Don't follow anyone. Follow your guts, follow your heart, but really crystal clear that you're following your heart. And that little boy, that boy changed my life forever. And now, he just graduated high school last week, ironically, regular high school, I might add, right? And now makes television shows on his YouTube channel for other autistic kids because that's his bloody passion. And he doesn't need a college degree. He doesn't need to go to school. He doesn't need to fit in, all that horse shit. He is exactly who he is, and he is the best damn teacher I've ever met. And all the degrees before and after my name and all the thousands of people I've worked with, and I get the pleasure of working with every single day, I don't hold a candle to the teaching he taught me in less than 3 minutes about being present. That's the question I wish they'd ask me more often.
Amen. My goodness. Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
High school graduate, baby, and taught
Yeah,
you
man.
a power, man. Taught you the power
Yeah.
of being in the moment. Truly. That's
Truly.
an amazing.
Trust me, I don't look at leaves at all the same. Every time I see a leaf, when I crunch it, I'm immediately reminded, I'm triggered, I'm brought right back to that space. And it's a lesson that will stay with me in this life for the rest of my life. And I've shared that story when beautiful people like you actually ask a question that matters. Not, hey, so what do you think about what's going on? Who gives a shit what Travis Fox about thinks? No one gives a shit what I think. I don't even give a shit about what I think, but I'll tell you what I feel. I'll tell you what I feel. I'll tell you what I feel. I feel that it's time that we really connect because, man, if we don't, we are so good at blowing shit up that we're going to blow this whole thing apart. And we're doing a damn good job of this on a global scale, right? We are blowing it up because we are so good at listening to this thing above our shoulders as though it's real. Like I said, there's a beautiful saying that for years I was taught many years ago. I spent the first part of my life in Japan and Germany before I came back to the United States. And I learned a saying, and to this day, I don't remember where I got it, but the simple saying says this, and I said it a moment ago, but let me slow it down for you. It's if I chop off your head, problem solved, but you still exist. How is that possible? you must come to the conclusion when you listen to that riddle that your being has nothing to do with your body. Your body is a bloody spacesuit, literally, in all senses of the word. And by the way, we've already talked about space, so we know we're the only people on the block. We're it, right? So we're here in a spacesuit for something larger than ourselves. Isn't it time you reach down inside that architect heart of yours and connect with something bigger than you? Because you never were not connected to it. The illusion that you created was that you weren't a part of it, because they told you that, because that keeps everything in that working order. Keep us competitive, keep us at each other's throats, keep us creating more harm and war and death. And great, we're all going to be dead anyways. Why accelerate the process? What if we started, what if we did on a global scale? Because if our planet was screwed right now, which by the way, it's on that track and it's fighting back, by the way, because Mother Earth is a hell of a lot more powerful than all of us combined, and she's pissed, and rightfully so. I know this year has been bizarre for me because I started my year off in the Philippines in the volcano. So this year has been a hell of a year for me, right? I've seen all of these things go on, and I'm like, isn't it time we start thinking, well, if Mama said it's time to leave the planet on a global scale, it would take all of us, every being on this planet, all 7 billion of us, to figure out how to migrate to Mars, or how to colonize the moon, to do that. And if it became such an impetus to do so, we'd do it. So my question is, what are we waiting for? How come we have to be so competitive over something that is so retarded? It makes no sense. We only show our humanity when we are inhumane. We only show up for our brothers and sisters when crap goes sideways. Show up every day. Show up now. Yes, sometimes it's hard. Yes, sometimes people piss you off. Sometimes you piss yourself off. Okay, but that's okay. Stop and look at that part. That's a layer and a lens. That is a belief structure of a construct of your mind, of a judgment sequence that was imposed upon you a long time ago, commonly called self-hypnosis, or osmosis, if you want to do it on a larger scale, osmosis hypnosis. And when you unwind that, you guess what? You go, none of that shit really matters. Because if I only had 30 days left to live, man, you and I right now, all we'd be doing is talking about the good times we're having, the things we experienced, the stupid jokes we played on each other, the mistakes we made, the money we lost, the things that we did, because guess what? We know we're leaving it behind. When, oh when, family, when we architect that, if that interests you, if that appeals to your heart, if your heart's beating out of your chest right now and your rib cage is busted up, go to Architecting 360, because the family's waiting for you, because that's all we're interested in. And I'm not saying about kumbaya. I'm talking about real world applying. You can have the life you want, truly, not fake, not Instagram or TikTok. I'm just talking about you journeying, because at the end of the day, if you haven't been with someone who's actually taken their last breath, I highly invite you to take that honor, because when they take their last breath, and I've done it many times, it's a beautiful honor. I promise you, I wish I had traveled more. I wish I had done everything I really wanted to do on this planet. And I wish I had spent most time with the people I loved, which means you have to be in love in the first place, starting with yourself. That's what they all say. Every single one of them, without fail. They don't say anything else. So we all know it. We've been around it. It's time we own it, because you people, you're the power. You are the beautiful architects. It's time we come together. And that is what it's all about. That's the question I think we need to ask more often. And shows like yours, God bless you, brother, however you believe in your deity structure. Thank you for stepping up and doing it, because it's time people start asking the real questions, because we all know we're not going to get it on TV. We're not going to get it on cable or news. It's just not going to get it, right? That's a controlled medium. This is not controlled. This is the time where the message gets out. So thank you for being the messenger, and I appreciate you letting me be a part of it.
Hey, I'm just honored that you set aside some time to be on the show, man, and just giving of yourself, man. And this is like probably 3% of it, if that.
Probably. You can tell your audience is probably going, holy crap, this guy's on. Yeah, well, no, and by the way, I'm sober, and I'm not on caffeine. I'm just being Travis. And that's because people ask me, are you high? I'm like, yeah, I'm addicted to the one drug that's incredibly difficult to find. And like, what's that? I'm like, I love the drug of watching people when they wake up, when they wake themselves up. There's this brilliant moment where they go click, and it happens every day in the academy. And I get to watch people do it, and to be around it is an addicting drug, because when they wake up and they realize they're the architect of their life, and they really can unwind these thoughts in their head. They can unwind these belief structures. They really can change. And it doesn't have to be painful. You don't have to go years of therapy and this trauma and all this other crap. You can learn it, and it's a step-by-step. And it isn't by humbaya, kibi-jibi. If you think it shows up, it falls out of the sky, law of attraction, crap. No, there is bona fide how it actually really works. And then you understand that the law of attraction is not linear. You don't think it shows up. There's actually 9 other governing laws. And that was the whole point of that film with Doug and I. When Doug asked me to be a part of it, and I said, Doug, I don't want to be a part of another film because I've been in a lot of other films. And I was like, I don't want to be another film that just sings kumbaya shit, right? Hey, if you think it'll show up and boom, you could have a purple Lamborghini and a jet and and you could be on the yacht and bullshit. And maybe you are, I get it. But let's be honest, that's not real. What's real is, hey man, when people come, when you think about your funeral, are they going to show up because they got to hang out on your yacht? No, because you reach down in there and you ask them the question, man, how can I help you live your dreams? Can I watch you wake yourself up? Can I watch and be there when your child does X? Or when, hey, when you know what, you're down and dirty, you're going through a divorce, or you're getting your ass kicked, or your job just quit on you, and you finally have a chance to change your life. I want to be there, because that's the moment when you show up. That's when you learn to make a choice. That's when you can make a difference, and you get out of that head of yours. That's the drug I'm addicted to, and I get to watch it every single day. So I'm in my passion. So as far as giving part of myself, brother, my entire objective, I'm leaving it all on the back 9, because guess what? It's staying here on planet Earth when I leave. So there ain't no holding back. This ain't no 401k, and there's no reason to sit here and go, well, I'll wait till I'm retired. I tried retirement. I suck at it. I just take that. Retirement is death. It makes no sense to me. And I've watched too many people get the life sucked out of them because they're retired. Retire my ass. People, I have people in the academy who have just started, who literally graduated last year, who are in their 60s, who just started, and they're some of the best architects I've ever seen, because they have 2 things. They have life experience, and they can reflect from a place from a totally different world. And guess what? They don't care about any of that stuff. They just care about the people and the experience. And I know there's a million people listening to your show right now that are like, I care about helping people. Okay, start with you. Start with you, because you are the central axis of everything that happens. And I would offer your people this. The world doesn't revolve around you, people. So let's just own that. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way. The world does not revolve around you, but you are the center of your world, which means everything in your world must come through and from of you. Therefore, if anything in your world is not the way you want it to be, guess who the single issue is? Now we can fix that. And it's not because you're broken. It's because you have a system up here that's programmed from somebody else. And it's time you get to own you. Freedom on all levels of existence. Financial, relationships, travel, business, podcasting, being an author, building wells and where the hell ever you want to build them. Being a part of the people. Travel your ass off, because we're all in the people business. There is no such thing as automation. Everyone's like, oh, you got to be automated on the internet. No, you're not. Who do you think built all that crap? It's humans. Right? I have an entire staff that builds landers and that system and the coding that goes on so we can do interactive learning and the program and the coursing and the grading. There's people. We're in the people business. If you're not in love with people, then you must look at the one place first. And I hate to quote it, but I'm going to, because I'm just a cheesy 80s kid. Michael Jackson. Start with the man in the mirror, man. Start with the bloody man in the mirror. Man or woman, I don't want to be genderizing here, but Michael said it best, man. You want to change the world, start with you, because it will change your heart. When you change heart and get out of your head, this other world shows up. Now, this whole law of attraction, law of a manifesting thing, when you understand how it actually really works, does work. But it doesn't work from, hey, I just think it shows up. Thinking is the last part of the step of the equation. In fact, it truly is the last step. It's feeling it first. And we are so afraid to feel. We're so afraid to admit, man, I love you, man. I love you, sister. I love you, brother. Why? Because you're teaching me about me. You're telling me where there's another layer I could take another layer off. I could be more vulnerable and more open, because I'm still deep down inside of places I don't talk about at cocktail parties, because people might find out. I am scared shitless that someone might find out. I really just want to be in love. I want to be in love all day, starting with myself. I want to be in love with you. I want to be in love with the world, because guess what? It's going to go away someday for all of us. And we're so afraid to be in love, yet the desperate dichotomy of our life is that's exactly what we all really want. But we justify it with money or family. We go, I want my kids to be happy. Well, then show them what happiness looks like by being happy. Don't tell them to go do it. They have no frame of reference. It's like addicted to the search. So that's what I'd say. I like questions like that. And thank you for asking it. And again, as you can tell, I have no passion, none at all. Zero. I got to work on that. Maybe you can help me. Maybe you can help me with that.
Oh my goodness. Woo. Well, last question every guest gets to receive, and that is, if you're to wake up tomorrow and you're 25 again, but this time in 2020 with all of your new equipment of being the ultimate architect, what advice would you give to yourself?
Follow your heart. Follow your heart unconditionally. Follow your heart even when your brain tells you not to. And I can tell you a quick story, and I'll end on that because your audience and you have been gracious enough to listen to me for a while. So I really appreciate it, because this is really my passion. I don't care what time of day or night it is. I will always be there for that space, because this is the drug I'm addicted to. I was 48 years old, which is just shy of 2 years ago. You've undoubtedly done the math. I was invited to go to Tanzania, Africa. I was on safari, and I was watching because I wanted to see before man screwed it up. I wanted to see what had been going on for millions of years before man populated the planet and decided that we have dominion. I'm not sure about that, but all right, whatever. So I wanted to check it out. And while I was on my way there, we were supposed to also go to see the silverback gorillas over in Uganda, which is an amazing experience, because that's truly wisdom souls right there. At least in my opinion. If you've been around it or even seen anything like that, you know that those are wise souls, and they wonderfully live socially together in a beautiful way. But I got a call from my buddy who was going with me, and he said, hey man, there's an Ebola breakout in Uganda. We can't go. I got an idea for you. I said, yeah, shoot me. He goes, we're going to go summit Kilimanjaro. And before my little brain had a chance to give all the objections and the reasons that was the dumbest idea for a 48-year-old ocean kid who doesn't like cold, and I don't like being above about 8,000 feet, my brain didn't have a chance. My heart went, yeah, hell yeah, I'm in. And then I hung up the phone. And I remember when I hung up, the next thought was, what the hell just happened? Well, I just had an out-of-body experience. I literally had someone puppetize my mouth. I was like, whoa, time out, whoa. And I started looking up Kilimanjaro. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I don't know anything about Kilimanjaro. I know the song from Toto, I've blessed the rains down in Africa and Kilimanjaro. I've heard it. I don't know anything about Kilimanjaro. So I looked up Kilimanjaro. Oh, come to find out, it's the 7th tallest mountain in the world. Good job, Trav. Okay, good start. Way to start, buddy. Well, 7's your lucky number, asshole. So I guess you're going to start there. I'm like, all right. Then I looked up, I'm like, well, how high is this thing? Oh, it's 19,341 feet. Damn, that's way up there. That's where the plane flies. That's an oxygen problem. We might not like that. By the way, how cold is up there? Really damn cold. Oh, okay. So I remember I'm thinking, and then I told my partners on my board, I said, by the way, I'm going to go do this. And every one of them said, are you out of your mind, Chief? What's wrong with you? I'm like, no, but I got to follow my heart. My heart said I had to go. And I remember my brain telling me, we're not going to make it. We're going to die on this damn mountain. This is okay. This is how we're going out. And I remember the 6 days of doing it. And I remember about halfway up, there was the moment of doubt where I had to face my own fear. My fear was, that mountain's really up there. I have no idea what I'm doing. It's me, my partner, and the training guy, the guide who had done it, I don't know, X amount of times, but I'm like, well, that's you. This is me. I'm just some, kid from the ocean. I'm an ocean kid. And I remember I had that moment where I had to sit there and I stared at a full moon, and it was the first time I saw the summit. It was at 12,000 feet. And I got to look up and see it, and I went, holy crap. And I felt all this fear come over me, and I realized, what was I scared of? I was scared of failure. I was scared of, what if I didn't make it? What would I have to tell all the people, because I was telling people I was going? All these beautiful things that everyone else goes through. Yes, I go through it too. Just because I run the academy doesn't mean I'm immune from it. It means I'm just aware of it. I went through that and I got to face it, and I was like, okay. And then, everyone thinks you're talking while you're walking up there. You're not. You're trying to breathe. There's no talking. So you're in your head for 6 days. You're walking with your partner, but you're not talking a lot, because every breath sucks. You're like, and they have a saying in Swahili called poli poli, which is slowly, slowly is how you get off Kilimanjaro. One step, one breath. And you become very present in your breath. And at 19,000 feet, my partner got altitude sickness. And I stopped to wait for a second. So there's the 3 of us up there. And, it's about 40 knot winds, and it was about -10 at the day we were there. And it was briskly cold. And I remember I sat down on the rock, and it was the first time I had stopped moving, because you just kind of keep moving. It's one step, one breath. And when I say one step, I mean the step of your foot. It's not like you're taking strides here. This is not a golf course. You're just like chugging along. And I stopped. And the moment I stopped was the moment my brain took over. And all of a sudden I realized I'm at 19,000 feet. And I started to panic. And I realized I couldn't breathe. And I started to hyperventilate. And I went, what are you doing to yourself, Travis? And then all these thoughts went through my head. There's no helicopters. There's no escalator. There's nobody going to save you. If you go down here, that's it. We're going to die right here. And then as crystal clear as I'm talking to you and talking to your audience, there's a beautiful voice came through up my chest, and this overwhelming noise, but it was a silent noise. It's the hardest thing to explain, but it just came over me, and it was a question. And the question said, hey, Travis, are you willing to die for it? Are you really willing to die for it? And this beautiful peace came over me when I sat there for a moment. And of course, my head was like, nope, this sucks. We're out of here. You know what? I went to 19,000. That's cool. I don't need to go to the summit because that's 341 feet higher, which doesn't sound like a lot, but at that altitude, it's another hour climb and another hour back to get to where I was. And then I still had to get off the bloody mountain. So I was like, you know what? No one will ever know. It's just the three of us. All this shit goes through your head, all these doubts, these justifications. And then I sat there for a second and I went, okay. And I really looked at the list of the question in my heart, which was I was willing to die for it. And it was a double question. The question was, I'm willing to die on the mountain. And overwhelmingly, when I said yes, two things happened. A beautiful peace came over me because I realized I was willing to accept that if I was going to go out, at least I was going out chasing the dream that my heart told me to chase. I didn't have to understand it. I just had to follow it. And then the second part that came out of that was I realized the question wasn't really being asked about my physical death. It was I willing to let my ego die? Was I willing to finally just follow my heart? Without comprehension, without understanding, without need to know every little detail along the way, was I willing just to follow it? When I said yes, so now here's what happens. We end up going, we get all the way up to there, and when I get to the summit, it dawns on me, like ding, like, hello, Mr. Potato Head. We've been trying to tell you this for 6 days, but you weren't ready, so now you are. The summit is not the goal. Summit is only halfway. You got to walk your ass all the way back down. Oh, snap. Wait a minute. Oh, shit. So the journey really becomes the adventure. And it dawned on me. And I went, you know, for 48 years, I had never really understood what the hell the journey is, what it's all about. I've studied it. I've asked masters. I am one myself, supposedly. And it didn't dawn on me until I went to the beautiful Queen Kilimanjaro, who sat there for billions of years and said, you know what? I'm not going to move. I'm going to let you grind this out on yourself because you're just a grain of sand passing through each other. So when you're done with that little ego of yours, I got news for you. You got 6 days to walk your ass back down. And by the way, family, if you ever go to Summit Kilimanjaro or any of the mountains, the other 6 mountains in the world, the coming down part is worse. Going up is easy. Going down sucks. Every part of your body hurts. You're exhausted. I went up at 215 pounds. When I came down, I was 190. You drop that much weight because you're just trying to survive. And I realized that getting there and taking the picture of the summit was great. I had proved to myself that I could do something I had no frame of reference for. I had to truly create from just my heart space. I had no idea what I was really doing. But on the way back down, when I got around to the base camp, which is just shy of 16,000 feet, two things happened. I realized when I looked back up, I saw one of the most beautiful sunrises I've ever seen in my entire life because the sun, I was looking down at the sun when it rose. I got to watch it. And then two, I had this beautiful emotional release. I actually just wept for 15 minutes when I came off that mountain because I realized that the mountain was the one teaching me. I wasn't there to conquer the mountain. People go, you're going to go conquer the mountain. You're not conquering shit. Relax. And she's been there 1 billion years. You ain't nothing. You ain't nothing. I ain't nothing. You ain't nothing. We ain't nothing. There's more grains of sand on her than than lifetimes on humanity. She ain't going nowhere. You start to realize that everything you thought was interesting isn't that interesting. You start to realize that the journey that you just took with your partner or whoever you went with or whatever you're doing with, that's the story. That was the lesson. And she was there to teach me two things. I'm not moving. You are. You're not here to conquer me. You're here to conquer yourself. And I asked you the question that you've been waiting 48 years to ask yourself is, are you willing to die for it? Are you willing to let that thing you think is so important in your head? Are you willing to die? And when I said yes, even again, still not really understanding what I was saying yes to. So there's 2 yeses on that mountain, one going there and the one at the top. I realized that she was there to teach me. And that was my heart that was connected to her. That when she said, it's time for Travis to come and learn this lesson. It's time for him to come understand what death of the ego really means. Am I perfect with it? No. Do I have days where I get pissed off at people in traffic? Yes. Do I still want to, sometimes think humanity is insane, including myself? Yes. Am I perfect? No, but I'm aware enough to go stop. Because there's a great teacher called Kilimanjaro who said, hey, Travis, are you willing to really die for it? Because at the end of the day, it's not about getting to the summit. It's about who you journeyed with and how you got home.
Woo! Next evolution of this podcast is a soundboard with organs, man. My goodness, powerful story.
Break out! Let's go! Woo! Woo! We'll have some church up in here. I've been to that too. I love it. I've been there. It's like, Shundai, check out my bow tie. Let's go, baby. I'm on it. I love it. But yeah, man, it changes your life. And then it becomes a series of experiences, right? I mean, I always ask people, architect your life. If you were writing the book of your life, and if you look back, how many chapters have you written so far? How many chapters you'd like to experience? Let's go architect it. You have a way to do it now. The Academy, this is a worldwide academy. It works 24 hours a day. Let's go. Let's go, man. Because you know what? It might be your 30 days. And I don't say that flippantly, and I don't say that as a sales pitch. I say, damn, I've already had 3 friends that have gone through this COVID thing. It is a butt kicker, but it's not the only thing out there. The biggest one is the prison of your mind. The prison of your mind is the biggest challenge you'll ever face. And you're either architecting with those thoughts, we call them bricks. You're either putting those bricks in the path that you choose to architect, or you're building bricks in the walls in the prison of your own mind. You choose. You choose right now. Listen to your heart, because I'm telling you, your head is going to lead you to the same spot, the crap you've already done. It's that simple. It's that simple.
There you have it, folks. My goodness, the Reverend Dr. Travis Fox, baby. The Reverend Dr. Architect of Being, baby. Travis 360, baby. The whole 360, right?
The whole 360, right? Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Remember, you're the architect. Architect your life, architect your lifestyle, because you're not getting off this planet alive, boys and girls. And if you had 30 days left to live, let's do it. If you don't know how, I'd love to be the opportunity. I would welcome it. I'm willing to open it up and show you how it works. Let you experience it for real. Start it with the 3 days. And I promise you, after 3 days, you will have a cataclysmic shift. And then you can say, hey, you know what? I'm ready to architect my life. And we'll do it. We'll walk with you. Again, we're not going to do it for you. That's not possible. But I'll show you how to earn and learn at the same time. This isn't about just another self-help program. Buy my stuff and hope to God it works at the back of the room. I've been that guy. I've been that guy. I won't be that guy ever again. This is about just bam, here it is. Here's the whole sandwich. Let's go right now. The question is, are you ready? And if you're ready, we're ready.
Woohoo! Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. My man Travis and his team's got the bricks for you, baby. He's got the bricks for you.
He's a brick house. Mighty. Sorry. And by the way, I can't sing, family, so apologize. Great producer, but I'm a crappy singer. Just so sorry if I just hurt your ears. I didn't mean to hurt your ears. Oh man. Cool.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Well, there you have it, folks. My man Travis Fox will tell you, if y'all haven't yet, go to the show notes at thetravis360.com. Check out all of his wares. Check out Architect That, the wonderful book for my readers out there. Definitely change your life for the better, especially with this new way of living and not thinking, because heart set is something that a lot of folks don't talk about.
Nope. Too scared. They might find out I'm not an alpha male. No, you're an alphabet male. You're all 26 letters. Get over yourself. Why limit yourself to being alpha? Duh. Last I checked. And by the way, for my good Christian friends out there, I've read your book many times. It says, I am the alpha and omega. That means there's at least another letter. So why don't we drop just being alpha and open up the possibility that you're bigger than just being an alpha male, right? Drop it. Drop it. You're all 26 letters. The question is, you've only explored one of them. What a limiting thought process. You created that. Wouldn't it be interesting if we found out what the other 25 letters of you really are? Damn, I'd like to find out. Wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. It's like Pandora's box in a good way with this guy.
Right? Here we go down the foxhole.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Kind of like Alice. Boop, 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 boop. The good thing about the foxhole is you end up at your own truth. That's the best part. He's like, you don't end up in my world, you end up in yours. That's the best part. Oh man. Thank you so much for letting me be part of this, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure indeed. My pleasure indeed. Any parting words before I stop recording?
No, I think we've covered it, man. I'm guilty of one thing, and that is because I really love what I do, and I love people, and I love watching them wake up, and I'm really passionate. I'm sure you undoubtedly figured that out by now, is that I have been guilty in charge of fire hosing people and overwhelming them to a bit. And I think that I may have crossed that line a bit, but I don't apologize for it. I just want to know that I'm aware of it. And so I'll stop there and say, hey, just come to Architecting 360, experience it. If it fits for you, thank you. If it doesn't, then thank you for listening. Continue to support podcasts around the world, because they're the only ones that are speaking the truth out there. That's what I would leave you with.
You just got done listening to another powerful, power-packed episode of the Going North podcast. I hope you really enjoyed what you heard. You made it all the way to the end. You get to hear all sorts of goodness. I was the best, but you just got done hearing some goodness. Go check out the guest stuff. It's all in the show notes on the website, donbrightman.com, and also reach out to those that you've just heard as well. And keep rocking it, because you yourself are phenomenal for making it this far, and keep going north.